All right, we are live here. I see you, Taylor, trying to steal all the spotlight, just you when we go live, not letting me into the room. I'm just sitting right here across from you.
It is like blaring at me saying, add him to stage. So,
all right, we're here. We're in the war room here in the usual spot. Lots to chat on today. Lots of things. Hopefully, lots of questions rolling in, live format, etc. Hope everyone's holiday plans are good. Let's get chatting here as people join in. Do you hear a little buzz?
I hear a slight buzz in the background. Yeah.
I don't know if we can get that or if it's just us. Hopefully it's not going out to everybody. Do you guys hear a buzz out there? You guys can reply into the chat room there. If so, we'll try and fix that little buzz.
Maybe it's just our mics. Yeah. Or like our side, our headphones. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. I can live with it.
Okay.
The ringing in my ear. No, just kidding. All right, let's go. Let's start on what's our first.
We have some prelim topics. So let's start first with so we talked first last podcast about Bill Belichick maybe jumping ship from the NFL, going to the college Nick Saban kind of route, Harbaugh, so forth. Tell me your thoughts on him actually officially going over and what's that
first
means.
Of all, how crazy would it be if indeed, okay, it's done deal. Belichick is with North Carolina now. What if Nick Saban took a job with the Raiders or something? That'd be
just going opposite ways.
George Costanza opposite.
Because the big thing is they're trying to say that he doesn't have any more opportunities in the NFL. So it'd be kind of surprising if Saban, he said went that way. Yeah.
Do I believe the Diana Rossini report that Belichick, his operatives, or Belichick himself reached out to the Jets? Yes, I do. I believe reporters in general, they're not trying to lie. But it's not just the Jets. He would have put out feelers to the Jaguars, to the Saints, to the Bears, to the Giants, to you name it. There's so much back channel news in the look. I'm not even plugged in directly to the NFL. First of all, I was never plugged in on, the news breaking, like trying to get source size, but just having been in the NFL, you hear things. And I heard things when I was in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I'm out of the NFL and I still hear things when I talk to reporters or agents or players or other coaches.
You're a soundboard, right? Just people because you've been in the game. So people want to.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I won't say how. Mm-hmm. But I knew Aaron Rodgers wasn't vaccinated before the whole
You did.
Whatever.
You told me to find a way to figure it out so we could do it, but there was no way. It was just all behind the scenes stuff that you were told.
Yeah. Whatever. Before Brandon Staley was fired from the Chargers, I heard the Jim Harbaugh rumors. Mm-hmm. Before he was even fired. It's back channel the way it works. So Bill's okay with he's not a impulsive guy. He's like, I want to coach. I love coaching. I don't see any great NFL opportunities. I don't want to sit on the sideline another year. So he ends up taking this job. And if you look at the structure of the job, mm-hmm. he can't leave. He's right. He says, I didn't come there to leave. But if you look at the structure of the contract, because it's a public university.
Yep. All the stuff is public. Yes.
After 1 year, he's free. Mm-hmm. Their buyouts like nothing.
So this job isn't like restricting him from any coaching cycle that might come up in the next couple of years. Yeah.
In the next cycle.
Yes. Yeah.
This cycle.
Yes. Yeah.
It does prohibit him some. It's not impossible. You'd have to pay a buyout.
So he could, like you said, there's a potential that he gets a job somewhere else and he just has to leave UNC.
If the perfect job comes, he still could leave this time. But if next year a good job comes and he can leave.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's trying to leave. I'm just saying he's leaving his options open. And I'm saying it's not surprising that people do back channel stuff. It happens. Okay, there's no tampering. There's no such thing as tampering when you're independent. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, there's lots of back channel things that happen. That's my point. And it's not a surprise. He's a teacher. He does want to coach. I think he's genuine in what he's saying, but he didn't get the NFL opportunities and they weren't readily available. And he's fine with the Jets league because I'm sure he's thinking it makes the Jets look stupid that they don't want to look at
They don't want
me.
him. Yeah.
And
it
meanwhile,
does.
instead of him
Yeah.
turning the Jets down because he doesn't like the owner, he was open to it, right? It puts the pressure on the Jets. And I'm sure he's fine with the idea of knowing that he did his due diligence. So I think it's fine. Now, here's my most intriguing question. They increased their NIL budget from 25
to 20.
to
Yep,
20
yeah.
million. What's the average out there?
You got Texas at plus 20. Let me see. Yeah, it's much larger than that. But that's up there with the top, like maybe 50 schools. Let me see here.
I would imagine Texas, Alabama, Georgia are much bigger. I would imagine Michigan, Ohio State are bigger. I would imagine
Oregon, yeah.
USC are bigger. Second tier, I would say 20 million. But I don't think Coach Belichick is going to have a hard time getting players. Let me pretend to be Tom Brady here when he mimicked Bill Belichick. I'm not a good impersonator. I've talked to Bill a bunch before, but I don't have his accent down, so don't get me. Coach, I'd love to come to your school, but Alabama is offering me $5 million, and you're only offering me $2 million for a star player. Coach says, well, appreciate your interest in North Carolina, but doesn't sound like you're a fit for our program. So Bill Belichick is going to say, here's what we offer. North Carolina, a great university. And if your goal is to get into the NFL, I will give you the best chance out there. If your goal is to make NIL money, go make your NIL money. All Belichick has to do is be competitive.
So 20 is within like the top 15, 20 teams. Oh, the biggest teams, like you said, like Alabama, Texas, they have 25, like maybe 30, 35.
Oh, so they're actually very close.
Yeah, the 20,
competitive.
20, that's a big increase going from 5 to 6.
That's super competitive.
Yes,
then.
absolutely.
So that's even better than I thought.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say.
You're off track. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say something, but I don't want to betray any confidences. You know what? I don't think it's betraying any confidences. I forget the name of the player. San Diego State, your alma mater, has a really good basketball program.
Yes.
Top basketball program. Love Coach Fisher. Love Coach Dutcher. Coach Dutcher didn't go back to the University of Minnesota. He's a lifer here. Love him. San Diego State doesn't have big NIL. I mean, they went to the Final Four, the final championship game the year before.
But not consistently year to year. No,
who's their star player that from the game that they went to the Houston finals against Connecticut and lost?
Jaylen Ledee? Is it Ledee?
No, Ledee came back. But he got a significant offer from Arizona State, an NIL deal. And Coach Dutch, I had dinner with Coach Dutcher and his wife Jan, and my wife. He's a great guy. He's like, yeah, it's hard for us to compete by money. If it's one thing, if he was being offered $800,000 and we could offer $400,000, I can make a case for him to stay.
Kashad Johnson, you're right. Yep. Yeah.
But when you're being offered $800,000 and we're offering you $80,000, I'm telling him you should go take the money.
Yeah.
That's Coach Dutcher. I mean, he's like, so the same thing with Belichick. As long as Belichick and North Carolina are within a zero, it's an easy sell to the right kid.
Because you said other people are taking money, you're training them for the next level. It's different.
If you're looking about the biggest money, go there. If you're worried about your best chance to play at the next level, come here. And we're not going to embarrass you with the money. We'll still give you some good money. So I think that's what Belichick has the ability to do.
Just a thought on the state team too. Like I think also that championship run also hurts you too, because now everybody wants a piece of your team after. The portal is so crazy. They just pick apart teams that get good, right? So,
Well, arguably the most famous player in Aztec sports history is who? I mean, you could say Tony Gwynn.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk wouldn't. He's been on the pod. He's a friend of the show. He lives in San Diego now. Marshall's my bud. You would never have Marshall Faulk anymore because he would come here because San Diego State offered him a chance to play running back. Everyone else would want him as a DB. He started playing well as a running back. Nowadays, NL, bye. We'll take you to Texas or Alabama.
Yep.
You wouldn't have Marshall Faulk finishing high in the Heisman Trophy balloting. Arguably should have won, but that's a different story.
The story just Jahmyr Gibbs. He played for Georgia Tech and he had an elite season. Alabama needed a running back because everybody went to the NFL. Oh, here's Gibbs, elite running back. Now he's on Alabama now.
And that's Georgia Tech posting.
Yeah, yes.
San Diego State. Marshall Faulk would never have finished as an Aztec.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
The landscape is just different now. But I think Bill's going to have a very powerful recruiting tool, which is if your priority is to get paid the most money, go. If your priority is to get a great education, a great school, and give yourself the best chance for success in life, whether it's on the football field in the NFL or here, and we're still going to pay you, I think it's a compelling argument for the right kid. And I think Bill only wants the right kid.
I have a comment. First off, they said no buzz, which were good. Number two, they're mad that we said Kawhi. We didn't say Kawhi, and we said Marshall Faulk. Maybe there's an argument there. He's right.
I think that's okay. I love the comment. I love Kawhi Leonard, but I'll make you a wager that this guy is under 40 years old.
Well, I'll wait to see when he answers.
35 even. Okay, it's called recency bias.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, this guy never saw Marshall Faulk play in the NFL.
All right, I'll wait to see what he has to say.
I'll ask you, Mr. Sake. Greater career in their sport, Marshall Faulk or Kawhi Leonard?
He's 44. He said, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, you're 44, still young compared to me.
He said, I sure did see him. He saw Marshall. He said, yeah.
No, but if you really argue, who was better in college, Kawhi or Marshall?
Oh, Kawhi was. All right, Marshall was. Kawhi
was by a lot.
Kawhi was good defensively. He couldn't make a bucket. Yeah.
I watched Kawhi. I like Kawhi. I'm surprised he did so well in the NBA, but that goes to NBA.
He developed quicker than everybody thought. Yeah.
I should have put on the Mount Rushmore. Let's settle.
Let's do four. Let's do four.
Okay, who's the fourth is the question. We know who the top three are.
Didn't Leroy Glover go to San Diego State? I
love Leroy Glover, but
yeah.
Okay, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You got no particular order. Don't get mad at me. Marshall Faulk, San Diego State.
Yep.
Okay. Marshall Faulk, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Gwynn.
Gwynn, yeah, you're right.
Who's the fourth?
Steven Strasburg.
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
That golfer. Yeah, Strasburg over the golfer. And if you're, but I don't know. We'll open it up. But bottom line is yes, a three-headed Mount Rushmore. Kawhi's on it.
All right, next one, Doc. I just want to talk quick before we jump into a rundown. There's a lot of people to talk about. Just talk about quickly on the Devondre Campbell situation. So Dre Greenlaw has been out all year. Devondre Campbell's played well at that weak side linebacker for them. He was able to come back, played half the game. You saw him with the heat or massage thing on his calf. Your thoughts on why just him leaving and how the Niners now said they suspended him for 3 games, not allowing him to join a team before the season ends?
Well, look, let's start with this. I was wrong for the first half. I did not think Dre Greenlaw was ready to play and be himself. And he had a heck of a first half.
He played balls to the wall, as they'd say.
And he played 30 plays and then was done. That's what happens when you're rushed back. And I get why you want to be rushed back. This was the game and this is the one they needed. So I was wrong that he could play very well, but it didn't last. So Devondre, and they knew that too. And Devondre Campbell, I think, was mad that he lost his starting job to a guy, this, that, the other. To me, inexcusable. If you say, I'm mad, I'm not the starter, I'm not going to play, then you should say, don't make me part of the 46. What makes players mad is you took a roster spot and didn't want to play.
This was an all-in game for the Niners.
It's an all-in game for the Niners where Nick Bosa wasn't 100% in playing. Isaac Guerrero was still limping and playing. Dre Greenlaw left it on the field there to play. That's why they're so mad. This was an all-in game for them that they needed to win, and he tapped out. And look, I don't know. Apparently he didn't go in the third quarter when asked. He didn't leave the sideline until the fourth quarter. I don't know the backstory of, was he told to leave the sideline? Was he tired of standing there and people giving him grief?
Yeah.
Was he, just decided to leave? But here's the thing that's interesting about it. the 49ers are clearly mad. Mad. Look, I bet right now they're not paying him and they're suspending him. The suspension might not hold. There's going to be a grievance process.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-game suspension for sure.
They're just trying to make a statement currently right now to say, yeah.
Look, how is he going to get out of a 3-game suspension? A, by saying that's not the norm. B, yes, I didn't play the 1 game, but I'm willing to come back and play. And why are you not? Now you're withholding my pay, and I'll play for you week 17 and week 18, but you're prohibiting me from playing week 16, 17, and 18 and taking 3 weeks of money. I'm ready to go week 17. I learned my lesson. Deontay Johnson was only 1-game suspension without pay.
Yep.
So it's likely to get reduced. If the 49ers are worried about money, my guess is they could go to Devondre Campbell and says, we'll let you go, but you have to agree we're not paying you when we let you go. And they got to figure out the clawback on the signing bonus and whatever. I think Devondre Campbell could land somewhere. I get it. People don't trust him anymore, but a playoff team need trumps everything.
Linebacker coach that played, used him before in the past,
the Lions need some help. I mean,
what'd you say? Talent trumps all, right?
Talent trumps all.
Yeah.
And the 49ers are mad at him.
Yep.
And I'm not saying not rightfully so, but here's my interesting point about the 49ers, and we'll get to the injury rundown because I know why. That's why you guys are here. If Devondre, the number one storyline out of San Francisco now is what? Devondre Campbell. What's the number one storyline if not Devondre Campbell?
Their disappointing season or their injuries. Yeah.
CMC, Debo's drops.
Debo's drops. Yes. Yeah.
CMC's quote injury proneness. Does Brock Purdy prove himself and do we pay him the money? Our disappointing season. Instead, it's he tapped out. That's the number one story right now out of San Francisco, at least nationally, maybe not locally.
And like you said, there'd be other stuff they'd be talking about. Yeah, that's true. Including Purdy asking for big money. That's interesting. But like you said, no one's talking about that right now. They're all talking about Devondre. All right, Doc, there's a lot of names. Let's jump into this rundown. Like you always talk about when a star player gets injured, we need to talk about him, even if it's a hangnail. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and his high ankle injury.
Oh, that's more than a hangnail.
Yeah. Playing it down. No, yeah. Tell me about his ankle. He seems that he gets an ankle injury every single season, particularly around the playoff year.
Let me start with Patrick Mahomes. Yes, biased, my son's favorite player. I'm a young quarterback hater. I'm an old guy. I was shocked when the Chiefs, are we frozen here? No, I guess we're a little bit. My computer is a little bit.
You're a little behind. Yeah, but you're still moving. You're still moving.
Let me see. Yeah, our internet's good. All right.
You're hop back in, yeah.
Love Alex Smith. They got rid of Alex Smith, the Chiefs, and Smith was good. Took in the playoffs. I was like, what are they doing?
Led the league in passing percentage. Yeah, go on.
They've seen Mahomes play 1 week 17 game. How are you making him the starter? Like 2 games in, I'm like, oh yeah, I see why this makes sense.
You saw what they saw in practice. Yeah,
he's great. Okay.
Yeah,
and he's great. The other thing about him medically, think about all the injuries he has been through. The kneecap dislocation, where he returned more quickly. He played through a similar high ankle sprain in 2022.
Going into 2023 Super
Bowl. Divisional round, Jacksonville, came back second half, won the conference championship, beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl in Arizona, the one I brought my son to, all with the high ankle. He's built differently. I'm going to date myself. He's Gumby.
There you go. It's fine. It's Christmas. That was a popular Christmas gift back in the day. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Gumby. Like, or Stretch Armstrong or whatever you want to call it.
There you go. Stretch is good too. Yeah.
Ligamentously lax, stretchable, which also makes him this great thrower because he's got such capsular laxity in his shoulder. He can really rear back and throw the ball.
Okay.
And it helps him with these injuries, the laxity. And yes, he's got a high ankle sprain. We said it in game. But remember, in 2022, he played through one. It's not always 4 to 6 weeks. There's different severity. I don't know if this one's more severe than 2022 or less severe. It's just video.
You don't see the x-rays. Yes. Yeah.
X-rays are going to be normal. Yeah. Okay. He can play through. And what did we say in 2022 or leading up to 2023 Super Bowl? He's going to play because he's not a 5'7" drop, back foot plant, throw the ball guy. He's off access,
he's gonna
dink
struggle,
and dunk,
Yep.
sidearm, get the ball out underneath. And we made a lot of good recommendations on longest completion unders for Mahomes throughout those playoffs. Similar thing when he comes back. When he comes back is going to be the issue here. Do I think he could have returned to this game yesterday on week 15? 100%. If the game was tied, he would have gone back in. They were up 2 touchdowns with, I don't know, a handful of minutes to go. And he even said he thought he could return. Andy Reid said it's smarter not to based on the score. And he even said afterwards, if it was a 1-score game, I would have really been lobbying.
Yep.
He could have returned. Can he play Saturday? Short rest Saturday
six
and
days,
then Christmas Day.
Just 4 days from
So
Saturday.
10 days, 2 games now. 3 games in 11 days. But today's Monday already after week 15 or near the end of week 15.
It'll be a Wednesday game on Christmas. Yeah.
Saturday, Texans at home. Next Wednesday on Christmas on the road against the Steelers. Both big games in terms of opponents. But guess what? The Chiefs have the division locked up. And there's 2 games ahead of the Bills right now. Yes, the Bills have the tiebreaker. So they're 1.5 games ahead of the Bills. They have a game to play with. That changes things. If you were Andy Reid, you want to ensure Patrick Mahomes healthy for the playoffs, or you want to keep running him out there just because you can. This is why the lines are reflecting that he's likely out on Saturday. Could he play? Yes. But Andy Reid is going to save him from himself and do the right thing for the team. Will he be out the Wednesday game? Depends on how he feels.
And Steelers is much more important. They're third. Like that would be a much bigger game. I also think too, I know this might not injury related. I feel like Netflix would go crazy if they don't have Mahomes, that they're spending so much money, getting.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Netflix don't have a say.
They don't. Yeah, no, I know they don't, but they'll be upset. I'm saying, yeah. But they're not going to be able to.
They can be upset
all they want. It
they
doesn't matter
want.
if he plays or not in there. Yeah, it's their
They
slate.
can be upset all they want. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that.
For sure.
The bigger one would be players do like to play on highlighted single national games because they want to show off what they can do. But the Saturday game is one of those. So is this Christmas Day game.
Right.
That concerns players more than Netflix. They don't even know what channel it's on.
Don't. Yeah, you're
they
right.
Even,
you're right.
They're always on TV. They don't even care about that. But I'll bet you in the building, the decision hasn't been made yet for Saturday or next Wednesday. But the fact that it's alive is a good sign. And we've come a long way. I remember after that Jacksonville game, our good friend Ian Rappaport, after the game, we said he's coming back in the second half. When he didn't return initially, there was a lot of whatever. They won that game, and Ian Rappaport broke the official news. We're just injury analysis, but he broke the official news that it's a high ankle sprain. And it was like, oh, he's going to miss the rest of the playoffs. Well, did he? No. So now I think we've evolved to the point where no one's worried about him missing 4 to 6 weeks because it's a high ankle.
Now it's week to week now, Rappaport said. Yeah.
It is week to week. And I bet the final look, here's what I can see happening. Andy Reid sitting down, Patrick Mahomes and saying, buddy, we love you. Unless you're 100%, we're not playing you this Saturday. What about next week? Well, we'll see next week when we get to next week. Okay. And I could see Patrick Mahomes on Friday walking into Andy Reid's office, jumping up and down. Take a look, man. I'm good to go.
I'm ready to go.
Look at me. I'm good to go. And making it a hard decision for Andy Reid. But you remember that Jacksonville game when he got sent to the locker room to get x-rays, he kind of pitched a fit on the sideline. Like, I don't need to go. I don't want to go. It's not broken. And Andy Reid said, I'm not putting you back in until you get a negative x-ray. Okay, coach. So he's got the final say, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes.
He'll listen.
Will listen. I mean, he's emotional. You want your leader to be that way, but he'll listen.
Well, that's good, especially like you're saying, it's not a major issue. And then, like you said, the more important thing is to get this. It is
a real issue. If he were a corner, if he were a running back, if he were whatever, and if he were most quarterbacks, I'd make it a bigger issue.
Yep. Is this like a Steph Curry kind of situation? I feel like when we look at his ankle injuries, sometimes we're just like, oh,
he's chronic inversion, different issue. But he's special too. But different type of ankle issue. But it's position specific, and also how Mahomes makes off-platform throws routinely.
Mhm.
If you look at his footwork and his arm angle, whatever, a traditional quarterback coach would pull his hair out, but he gets it done and he delivers the ball.
And that's all that matters. Yes. Next one, Doc, it was a scary situation for the wide receiver for the Dolphins, Grant Dubois. He was playing more minutes this week because they released Odell Beckham. Your thoughts on that scary collision he took in the middle of the field?
We only saw one video, and we didn't get to see the position of his neck because it was blocked by the defender. My whole thing is we don't like head injuries, but as long as it wasn't a head down neck injury, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And initially we did not see him moving his arms or legs.
We did not, no.
And so it's like, as long as it's not a neck injury, it's all good.
And you didn't like the way his neck was kind of bent down a little
and
bit.
we didn't have a second angle, but
Yeah.
that was the worry. The shirt is routine. The jersey cutoff look is routine to get access, whether for IVs or chest or EKG leads, whenever you're treating someone in the emergency room, and that's essentially a portable emergency room out on the field, you disrobe to get the exam, to get access, to do treatment. To me, the fact that they took his pads and helmets off,
that's what I was going to ask you next,
was a good sign that his neck was okay.
Because they would have left it on.
They would have taken the face mask off, but left the helmet and the pads on. You never want to take off the helmet, but not the pads, because then guess what? Your neck falls back because of the thickness of the pads.
Okay.
You never want to take off, you can't take off the pads without taking off the helmet, but you never just take off the helmet and not the pads. They're all equipped with screwdrivers, power screws that will take off the face mask, the intubation, airway, whatever, but then keep the neck and back and spine level, the same level, instead of dropping the head back because the back of the helmet is now gone. It doesn't match the pads. So look, the other reason he stayed behind is he wasn't going to be discharged quickly. They were playing in Houston. The plane's leaving. So unless he's discharged in an hour and a half, which isn't going to happen, he's going to stay overnight, you know? And so hopefully it's all precautionary now, and hopefully he's good.
They said he had movement extremities, I think they released this morning, which is
look, no one cares if he returns to play this season. It's just about his overall health. And so far it seems good. So let's rejoice in that.
One health we've been hesitant to call him healthy all year is Nick Chubb. He's had the knee issues. Tell me what we saw in his foot injury, and now he's been ruled out for the year with a broken foot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fifth metatarsal. Who knows? A broken foot. I mean, Nick Chubb is to be congratulated. He outperformed what I thought he could do. He came back, but that has to do with Nick Chubb's greatness. I mean,
75% Nick Chubb is still better than most running backs, maybe.
I mean, he's that good, but he's not 100%. I think it'd be great if he can come back next year at 90, 95%. Let's hope so. Hopefully he doesn't have to worry about the last few games now with the broken foot. Hopefully he can continue to ascend, but that knee dislocation is a beast.
And you'd be more worried about that than the foot, you're saying, yeah?
I'm not worried about the foot, his recovery from the foot. It's just, what's he going to get to ultimately for the knee? He came back, he did well, but look at his numbers.
I was about to pull him up here. There's 100 carries, 332 yards. So that's 3.3 yards a carry. You look at every single year before, he's actually one of the best at averaging 6 or 5 or more. So he's 2 yards down his normal, average.
75% is probably overstating based on that. But it's just a fine line. The bottom line is 3.3 yards a carry is not Nick Chubb.
He averages 5 to 6 every season. Yeah. So it's a huge difference.
Yeah. And hopefully he can get back to that level with his knee. The worry still is knee, not his foot.
We have a couple other running backs to talk about. David Montgomery, we didn't see much live during the game. Your thoughts on the torn MCL that Rappaport released this morning?
We did see some video as we go back on Monday, and thanks to my guy, I think Jimmy Lau. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry. Sorry, Jimmy.
Yes.
I've talked to him before.
Yeah.
He's a MD in Detroit. He does a lot of stuff with following the Lions. Like I said, I love other guys trying to do stuff, and he's get some good video. He's like single eyes on the Lions, which is great. And he pulled up a couple of videos. I retweeted it. But that looks like a mild MCL to me. Is it a tear? Yes. A sprain is a tear. But it can be a partial tear. It's not going to need surgery. And I would be very much surprised if Montgomery weren't back at some point this season. But by this season, I mean playoffs too.
Yes.
If you want to bet me my house, who returns first, Montgomery or Aiden Hutchinson, I'll bet you the house and the car.
Can I add Carlton Davis in there? So they've said 6 weeks for his broken jaw. So he said he could potentially return within the playoffs before the Super Bowl. Is that add that third name in there? I guess for your
Depends on the jaw fracture. Does
Yeah.
it need surgery, and can they protect it?
Okay.
And I think in order of return, it would be. I'll just name some of the big Lions names. In order to return this season for the Lions, it's Alex Anzalone,
Mm-hmm.
David Montgomery, Carlton Davis, then Aiden Hutchinson, then Aleem McNeil.
The ACL tear. Yeah, that's the next. That's the next to zero. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah. And then you said Khalil Dorsey already too with his, his
Khalil
fractured
Dorsey.
leg.
I
as
didn't
well.
mean to. Yeah, he's down on the list too. Sorry. I didn't mean to discount
I was
him.
gonna say Jimmy, your friend, has been dealing with a lot of issues with the Lions. They have like 13 plus people in the defense alone on IR, right? So and they've added more yesterday.
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next running back I want to talk about, Doc, is Alvin Kamara. He suffered a groin injury last week. Their playoff chances are starting to slow down too for the Saints, or they've maybe slowed down entirely. Your thoughts on his potential play for the next couple weeks for his groin?
Even if the Saints were in it, and mathematically they are.
They have an extra day potentially. They play Monday, but like you said, what's that
groin for a speedy cut? It just doesn't bode well. Doesn't bode well. Even if it were a must-win 50-50 game, maybe he forces himself out there. And I'm not calling him not willing to play or anything like that. It's just not likely.
So for that Netflix game, another big injury, TJ Watt. We thought there was something maybe serious with a foot. They're saying low ankle. Go on talk about it.
Clarify
yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to quote be wrong, but if you look at my in-game tweets, we got the video of TJ Watt and he just starts limping, and we actually don't see a specific injury.
Right.
And TJ Watt is a stud. He's not limping for no reason. So that's why I said, I hope it's not disaster worst case scenario with a fifth metatarsal Jones fracture, because that can happen to edge rushers on an innocuous looking step. That's all I said.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to call me wrong there, I'm thrilled to be wrong, to have it be a low ankle. I do believe in this case, and we've caught the great Mike Tomlin hedging the truth before.
You saw now, he said the door is ajar for him to play.
No. I think he's being honest this time.
Okay.
We've caught him in some coach speak before, which is his job. So we're not hating on the great Mike Tomlin. But I think he's being honest by saying low ankle sprain, because I went back and looked at the video right afterwards. And you can look at it. It's still on my Twitter. I don't delete tweets. You look at the first hand, what it was. There was a literally millisecond that his left ankle
flips a little bit.
Is out of the frame of the picture.
Okay.
Where it might have tiny bit flipped.
Yeah.
And so I see nothing. And then he finishes and limps on. So yes, I do think that video is consistent with low inversion ankle sprain. I do think the door is ajar for him to play.
Ravens.
Why? Because it's Ravens.
Right.
But
Huge.
also on Saturday. But also, if he does play, I'll make you this prediction. He's going up against Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. Why? You can't edge rush with a somewhat bum left outer ankle and turn the corner.
Can't do it. Yep.
So he's going to have to flip to the other side, which is doable and okay. He's good from that side.
You just put Highsmith on the other side. That's fine.
His preference is to be on the defensive left side and Highsmith on the right. You're going to have to flip him. That's a small price to pay to have TJ Watt
back out there for that game, and then potentially the Chiefs game after. Yeah. Next one I want to talk about just quickly. Tommy DeVito. I swear, every single time we're trying to get him a full game, he's not able to do it. This time it was a concussion. They're without Drew Lock, who has a heel foot injury as well. Is it a potential they're going to have to rock Tim Boyle?
It's a potential, yes. It depends. Look, I love the Tommy DeVito story and everything. I remember Junior Seau once. I forget the quarterback's name. Good quarterback in Dallas. he was a backup or third stringer or something like that, and he tried to do too much. He tried to be Superman. I mean, he didn't play with it himself. He tried to do too much, and he got himself hurt and got himself a concussion. He tried to do a little too much. And I remember hearing Junior say to one of the Cowboys players, Lottie, what's your guy trying to do? He was going to start next week. Now, you know, he got himself hurt. Like, you know, the problem is injuries beget injuries. Okay. So Daniel Jones wasn't an injury, but Tommy DeVito is a backup for like, he's trying to excel at the highest levels of the NFL, and who can blame him? He's trying to run red line as opposed to play within himself. Why? Because he wants to make it and do well in the league, and who can blame him for running red line? But redlining engines don't do well in auto racing.
Yep. Long term,
redlining doesn't do well in football. That's kind of why I got to give him credit. He gets banged up, he gets hit here, he leaves it on the field, and that's why fans and people love him. So I'm not criticizing him, but he's not injury prone. But the way he plays all out makes him prone to injury because he's doing dangerous stuff, right? I'm interested in this, and I couldn't figure out a way to do a poll. Maybe you can help me. Tua, at a key point in the game, ran on a third down and went head first. Didn't get hit in the head, got the first
but he
down.
tried to get the first down head first.
Got called back by penalty. Now, do fans want him to slide there and end up a yard short of the first down marker? Or do they applaud him going for it? I mean,
I don't know. Him, it's interesting. I feel like I've sat in a bar and watched him before. I feel like people are worried about him. I feel like they don't want him to. I feel like everybody else, you're going to be mad that they don't get the first down. Like Jalen Hurts or somebody, if he doesn't do it, they're going to be like, Philly fans are going to be like, what are you doing? But him, I feel like there's a weird like sense like, oh, be careful, Tua, you know, but
no, I get it. And, and I got to give him credit. He knew his third down. He knew he was close to the marker, and he knew the only way he's getting the first down is to go head
same
first.
with the concussion. Remember when he ran to get it, he needed to get that first down, you know, and he got hit in the head. So,
so maybe we'll figure out a way to do a poll. I think the poll is going to say, most of the nation is going to say, I want him to slide. I don't care about the first down.
Okay.
And that's a good sentiment.
Yeah.
But maybe I want Dolphins fans to answer the question. Do you want your quarterback going head first there or not? He needs to get the first down. He's got to go head first. If not, you're risking.
My dad's a Dolphins fan. I know he'll say the opposite of what I just said. He'll say, you need to get that first down, whatever. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. I don't know all Dolphins fans.
He's trying to cash his wager. That's a different story.
Yeah.
It's a different route.
Yes. Definitely different. Yeah.
No, I don't mean to make light of it. It's a realistic question. I mean, people got mad at him for trying to make the tackle after the interception. You want him to just stand there and not make the tackle? I mean,
it's tough. Yeah. I did have a last one for a rundown. Dolphins injury, Doc. Jaylen Waddle. We saw the high ankle knee where they released a knee into the game. What are your thoughts? It's just
that was unfortunate. He stood around a pile at the end. He got rolled up on. Skill receiver, quick guy, making cuts. I don't see him playing. And what's the Dolphins' chances, Doug? Well, like 1%, less than 1% at this point.
They're playing the Niners, who also have a less than
all but mathematically eliminated.
For a wild card.
Yeah, around 9%.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
9%. That's a lot higher than I thought.
Well, they're playing the Niners, who have less than 3%.
Well, the Niners could still win the division, right?
Theoretically. We did look at that. Yeah. So that might be a big game. The thing about Dolphins, though, if you have that Dubois kid and Waddle, it's just going to be Tyreek Hill by himself. So that's going to be an issue for their wide receiver core.
Yeah, and no, maybe they'll re-sign Odell. No, just joking.
Maybe.
Joking. Interesting. Maybe we'll call that the final straw bowl or the elimination bowl.
Right.
The death knell bowl.
The last chance. Yeah. Yes.
It might be. They might be at a death knell either way you look at it for both teams, depending on what happens. I haven't looked at the schedule yet related to.
Remember you taught me that's an
Saturday
afternoon
games.
game, so they can see stuff beforehand and see. Yeah, you're right. So that could be
afternoon game, and do the Saturday games play into that? We'd have to look and see.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But the NFL is really good. The reason why they jury-rig the schedule at the end is they don't want a meaningful game to become a meaningless game. They'll pair all those up to play the same time if they're linked outcomes. So you can't just, we don't have to play hard. We can rest our players because the other team already lost that we're chasing or that was chasing us. The NFL does a good job of messing with the schedule in the last week of the season. That's why they don't do a Monday night game the last week, because it's hard to have a game, always a game that's completely meaningful, and they also don't want to give certain playoff teams a disadvantage. But they'll time out the games that you're not going to have a late game be meaningless based on the earlier game outcomes. They'll pair them to the same time.
That's interesting. I had last
You didn't
one.
know that?
No, I did not. No.
No, look, it's good for competition, but it's also good for TV.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's,
So,
I mean,
they don't want stale games. So
they just moved the Bills-Patriots game. I don't know if you recently, so that was going to be a stale game or something. That wasn't going to matter because they've already locked the division. So that makes sense. I wanted to talk about
Bills-Patriots still matter because the Bills could catch the Chiefs still.
But the Patriots, though, yeah, they probably don't want to see them in a primetime game.
Well, I don't know what they moved them from.
Yeah,
they moved them from Sunday, or
they moved them. No, they moved them to an afternoon slot from the morning.
That may be because the people want to see the Bills.
Yeah, that's what I say. I don't know.
That may be TV says should be able to show the Bills. I don't know what game they're replacing. TV is a complicated thing.
Doc, last sec, I just want to talk about the Jaguars. Raiders are playing this week. I know a lot of people care about that game. That is the battle, trying to get a first-round pick with New England. Maxx Crosby is going to be out for the season. I just want to mention that, as a Raider fan. He's been dealing with it since week 4. Is that, like we talked about last week, kind of the shutdown thing? Because it's been week 4 injury. He's played through it.
Look,
what's the reason to get surgery now?
Who's the number 1 player on the Raiders?
Maxx Crosby.
Who's the face of the Raiders?
Maxx Crosby. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the leader? Maxx Crosby.
Right. All the above. Yeah.
Did his ankle injury get worse from last week to this week?
Probably from playing on it, maybe, right? Maybe not significantly, but I mean, maybe wear and tear.
So why now?
That makes, because they're
nothing. To me, either it got worse, either, which is possible, I suppose. Either Maxx Crosby said, "I'm not doing this anymore," which I doubt. Knowing a little bit about, I doubt. The head coach, the team, or someone saying, "Thanks for your service. Go get your ankle fixed." Or perhaps medical saying, do we really want to do this? There's a risk of him getting worse. Let's just get him right for next season. In any case, it's looking to next season. I'm not saying the Raiders are throwing the game. I'm not saying they're tanking for a draft pick purposefully. I am saying they're making the smart decision for their smart player, but it does send a message of we're looking to next year.
Right.
And if you're looking to next year, it's essentially, without using the word shutdown, a shutdown, a tank. And
it's a nice way to say it. Yeah.
But I'm not saying they're tanking personally. They're not doing anything legal. They're looking to next season. But looking to next season is
tanking a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that message is going to be known in the locker room.
All right, Doc, I just want to wrap it up. Just our sick picks continue to do well. We're going to have a guarantee tonight for the Monday Night Football game. One of them.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
Yes.
Bears, Vikings. The only thing I wondered, and I don't know the answer to this, why didn't they stagger it more?
Oh, just not more than 30 minutes. Yeah, that's true. I never know. You always know more about the TV stuff than I do. I never know. I just know it doesn't make sense.
The other thing, I think I know the answer to the question. You know what the answer to the question is? If it were Raiders Chargers, they would have staggered it more. You have Vikings Bears. You got to think time zones.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, Las Vegas. So which game are you going to kick off? You're going to do 4 and 7:30. So you really going to do Atlanta fans 10:30 Eastern time?
Yeah. They'll get mad about that. Yeah.
10:30 Eastern time. Oh my gosh. That's our kickoff. That's crazy. Right now it's 8:30 kickoff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right. I think it has to do with the geography of the teams that were paired up. Right. I mean,
no, that's probably makes
right.
sense.
Because you can't, how do you sell that NFL? I mean, you're going to make the game kick off at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock my time. I mean, we don't have a chance to watch the game. You got to make it reasonable.
Oh, that makes sense. All right, Doc, I have no questions over here. Just want to wrap it up.
No questions, which means we answer everything really well, or we bored everyone with a lot of conversation.
People
Anything else,
loved our
Doug?
San Diego State conversation, so we were
Oh,
doing
really?
okay. Yeah, we had a lot of
All right,
comments on that.
let's wind up.
Yeah.
Who's the fourth on Mount Rushmore?
Did we add Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You had him as the third one. Okay, I'm just making sure.
You got ADD?
I might.
You might. Okay. Kawhi, no order. Tony Gwynn. Marshall Faulk. Who's the fourth?
I don't know. I want to stick to Steven Strasburg. But
Kirk Morrison. No, we love Kirk.
We do
Kirk,
love.
no,
I do.
but I don't
Raider,
think he's-
Raider, great.
I don't think
So.
he's Mount Rushmore.
And you won't accept
I would
Leroy
take
Glover.
Kirk.
You won't accept.
I don't know. I might take Kirk Morrison over
Leroy Glover. Yeah.
I like them both. Why are we? Who else? There's Dan McGuire. No, just kidding. Who else? There's got to be a fourth. Strasburg, right, is the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Xander Schauffele is the golfer.
Oh, he's good. I might take him if he keeps going. Would you take Xander Schauffele or golfer? Yeah, yeah. He's also Olympic. He's Olympic gold medalist as well. Yeah.
Xander Schauffele is the fourth right
There
now,
you
but
go.
he might get bumped off. Don't carve his head on the Mount Rushmore yet. Mount Helix. The Mount Helix.
Yes, there you go.
San Diego State.
base.
Mount
There
Helix.
you go. That's perfect.
Local knowledge there, dropping it.
That's perfect.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate you. 2 Monday night games on to week 16, and thanks for watching and listening.